guys, girls, and whole new worlds. Welcome to episode 5 of our podcast, Character Crashers, where we discuss both popular and obscure media that we enjoy and come up with character concepts surrounding the fandoms. My name is Taylor.
I'm Colin.
And I'm Morgan. And today's media of choice is the mysterious supernatural comedy cartoon known as Gravity Falls. We'd also like to introduce our guest star of the day, Rye.
Fuck! Gravity Falls is a mystery comedy cartoon created by Alex Hirsch, which first debuted in the summer of 2012. The series follows 12-year-old twins Dipper and Mabel Pines as they spend their summer with their great uncle Stan in the strange town of Gravity Falls, Oregon. While staying at their uncle's tourist trap, popularly known as the Mystery Shack, Dipper and Mabel uncover secrets, monsters, and hidden conspiracies. With the guidance of a mysterious journal, they face supernatural creatures and situations, while seeking to uncover the town's greatest mysteries. Between the twins, Dipper is the curious and more serious-minded one, while Mabel is the fun-loving, optimistic one. The twins meet many people along the way, some friends, others rivals and foes. Gravity Falls dives into adventure and creativity while exploring not just mysteries on the surface, but underlying ones as well. This series blends heart, humor, and mystery into the themes of curiosity, trust, and most importantly, family. And with that, welcome to Gravity Falls.
Welcome to Gravity Falls, home of the mythical and supernatural, a place filled with mysteries. Now why does that trigger something in my brain? Mysteries. Oh, I know. I'd like to introduce everyone to my Gravity Falls OC, Misty Era, but most call her Mysteria. Mysteria was born and raised in Gravity Falls, and is one of the first people to officially meet one of the fan-favorite characters of the series, Stanford Pines, when he first arrives in Gravity Falls. Much like old Six Fingers, Mysteria is an anomaly. You see, her eyes are completely white, and no, she's not blind. She actually has perfect vision. Her eyes just look a little weird. So to avoid the scrutiny of others, she got into the habit of wearing a blindfold all the time. One where the fabric is thin enough that you can see through it, but no one else can see her eyes. Mysteria spends a lot of time with Ford during his early years in Gravity Falls, becoming a close friend and one of his colleagues in researching the mysteries of Gravity Falls alongside Fiddleford. It's only when Ford builds the portal and they officially test it that things start going wrong. While Fiddleford had a rope caught around his ankle that allowed Ford to pull him back out of the gravitational pull of the portal, Mysteria got swept up and pulled in with no safety line, leading to her getting trapped on the other side. I don't know if Mysteria would have met Bill Cipher before getting pulled into the portal, but she definitely meets him once she's on the other side. Entering a realm of demonic power, something deep inside Mysteria is unlocked, and the longer she stays in that realm, the more she starts to become accustomed to the magic deep within her. Under Bill's guidance, Mysteria learns to control her newfound powers and becomes a full-fledged demonic entity, practically becoming immortal given the fact she hasn't aged a day since she went through the portal. Now, it's been a while since I've worked on Mysteria, so I don't exactly remember how important of a role she plays in the series. I know that at some point she eventually is able to leave the realm she got sucked into and return to Gravity Falls, but I don't remember if she gets summoned by Giddy and Gleeful alongside Bill, probably the most unlikely outcome, escapes through the portal at the same time Ford does, but that would imply she eventually caught up with him in the other realm before Stan reactivated the portal, or she just returned to Gravity Falls during the Weird McGinnon finale special of the series, alongside all of Bill's other demonic friends. Honestly, returning during Weird McGinnon sounds like the most plausible of outcomes. Some details of Mysteria's new demonic side is actually fascinating. She still appears human, but she now has the ability to use some form of demonic magic which takes on the visual appearance of a pinkish aura. Her eyes are different too. Where they once were completely white, over time she slowly gained pupils and irises of a magenta color. She still sometimes wears the blindfold over her eyes for nostalgic reasons, but nowadays she's repurposed the blindfold to be more of a fabric headband.
Alright, so I have an OC for this as well. I'm just kind of gonna freeball this because I don't have like a ton developed. Basically, I took Bill and there's this whole thing going around on the internet of an alternative version of him called Will Cipher. He's blue and he's got quite a bit of a different personality than the Bill we're used to. So I decided why not make another one. So I'd like to introduce you to Chill Cipher. He is Bill but green. He has a lot more relaxed personality. He has a lot more of like a fun guy. He does still make deals, but he also deals more in money rather than just purely on handshakes. So I will tell you, and I'm sure you'll see in my drawings once this is put together, I have been told by 2 different people that he kind of looks like a drug dealer. Not gonna lie there, I didn't really see it until after the fact, but I'm kind of rolling with it. Not with the idea of he's a drug dealer, but I do kind of see that he looks like one. I have a couple different styles I've been playing with him. One of them is just like headphones on his head. Another one has like a one-eyed sunglasses and a beanie. He's got a little bit of the gold chain necklace going on and a bracelet, and yeah, I kind of see why I've been told he gives some resemblance to Snoop Dogg, but if he were green and Bill Cipher. So yeah, I'd like to welcome you to Chill Cipher. I don't really have much for story developed with him or where he necessarily falls in. It's just more so a fun little character I wanted to create. Drug dealer was not the intention, but I don't know. I kind of want to make him a DJ, so we'll see where that goes. So yeah, this was Chill Cipher.
Okay, so now we're entering the open mic portion of the podcast. Rye, you had something to say before we went into the collab part of this?
Yeah, I did. I was thinking with, what was it, Chill Cipher?
Chill Cipher?
Yeah, Chill Cipher, the drug dealer.
Yeah, Colin's OC.
The unintentional drug dealer.
Yeah, I was thinking, it kind of looks like a greed Bill Cipher. So like, what if you did the 7 deadly sins of Bill Cipher? And like just have them all.
I actually kind of had a thought about
really
that.
cool.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
Yellow Bill would be Pride or something.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
thinking
that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yellow would be pride, green is
What
greed.
would Will be, though? Because he's blue. What would Will be?
I don't know, but I remember I talked to you about this the other day. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
This could be-
Maybe we don't have a will. I mean,
We don't necessarily have to, but if we did, it would probably be like,
are we counting vanity
Sloth?
or envy?
maybe sloth.
That's the closest I can think.
I know some people
Anyway.
do vanity, but there's also envy.
We can talk about this at another time because this would be an interesting drawing thing to do.
It's
Yeah.
brainstorm.
I know it's a brainstorm.
The
We can-
brainstorm. All of our OCs will be alternate versions of Bill Cipher.
Oh God.
Oh God, the Cypherverse.
He is the best character.
Yeah,
And the Cypherverse is a thing.
it is
Oh
funny.
God.
That is true.
Into the
Cypherverse is kind
Cypherverse.
of
Is
a
it?
thing.
Oh my God.
A little.
I can't
I
wait
mean,
for
I
that
think it's in
movie.
the Book of Bill, isn't it, or
Alex-
something?
Alex
I haven't
Heard.
read
I haven't
Bill.
read
Not
Bill
of
either.
him, but in the Book of Bill, it goes over like
A lot of the
alternate
multiverse
Yeah.
universes,
stuff. Okay.
multiverse stuff.
We need the 7 deadly
So
ciphers.
let's
the 7 deadly ciphers.
I know, the 7 Deadly Ciphers is a good idea, but we do have other ideas that we need to discuss, because we do have other things that we wrote down. So let's talk about those
So
first.
moving on to like our main collab OC for the episode. Does anybody in particular want to go first? If not, I
Taylor,
can start.
did you have any ideas for this
No,
one?
but I really like the 7 Deadly Sins.
No, it's the 7 deadly
What if,
ciphers.
okay,
The 7
what if
cipher
to
sins?
appease everyone, we have a moment during this portion of the discussion where we're actually
We're
doing the
doodling
7
the-
deadly
Yeah, I'm good with that.
The 7
Seven
seven deadly
ciphers.
ciphers. And then we actually have a collab OC. So it's like 2
Yeah.
separate things. We're doing the 7 deadly ciphers. Are we going to all draw the 7 deadly ciphers though? Or do we want to
Split it
each
up.
pick?
We each get our own of the
Yeah.
sins.
So it's like we each do all 7, or we each do like
We
a few
each
in
do
particular.
our own.
So, yeah, we should probably decide who gets what.
Yeah, who gets
I
what?
have
We
to
decide
draw?
that right now. Yeah, you have to draw now.
Rye can draw.
You can if you want.
Specifically for this one, I feel
the
like, because this
only-
was your idea.
Exactly.
I
Now
feel
you
like
have
this
to
is
do
the
it.
only one that you
I can
are really.
Photoshop.
Yeah, that's fine.
You
Yeah,
can
that's
Photoshop
fine.
I feel
the
like this
cipher.
is the only one that you should really mandatory take part in.
So we know we already have one, so that leaves how many more? 6 more.
So wait, are
Wait,
we
are
counting
we counting Chill
Collins
Cipher?
and Chill Cipher?
Because he could totally be Greed.
Oh yeah. Okay, then
So
then
Collins,
Okay, so I
Chill
got
Cipher,
Greed.
of Greed.
We
Wait,
have 5
wait.
more.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
So if we do Bill, Will, and Chill being already existing,
Yeah.
that leaves 4 for us. So I think we need to figure out who Will would be. So then it leaves
I
up
think
the
Will, the closest I can think of would be Sloth. Just given how he is.
rest. Well, isn't Will's
He's
kind of like
He's a
wimpy?
wimp. Yeah, he's a wimp.
I don't
He wouldn't
know.
be
Wimpy
like-
keeps to himself
wouldn't
kind of
be
quiet,
glutton.
right?
That wouldn't
That's
be.
what I'm saying. I just don't know whichever one would fit him
And he
better
wouldn't
than
be
Sloth.
What are
Lost
okay? Hang
either.
on. I'm gonna count off the 7 prizes.
Yeah.
So pride, envy, lust, wrath, greed, gluttony, sloth. Did I say them all?
Yeah, pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. Yeah.
Okay, so we said Bill is pride.
Yep. Greed would be chill.
Greed would be chill. Are we saying Will is sloth? Because I do feel like that's probably the only.
Yeah,
one
because he's definitely not lust or gluttony. He's not wrath, and
I can't really see
envy. Yeah, so
Okay.
sloth.
So that leaves.
Lust, envy, gluttony, and wrath.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd be kind of interested to play on envy a little, personally, for me. So I'll do envy. Rye, which one do you want to do? So it's wrath, gluttony, and what's the other one? Lust.
I'll do lust.
Okay.
I had a feeling. Okay.
Fair enough. Rye can do lust. Colin, Taylor?
Which one do you want? Gluttony or wrath?
Which one do you want?
Which one do you want? If you don't know, I'll take.
I literally don't know.
I can take wrath. I can take a crack
gluttony.
at wrath.
Okay,
I'm good
so
with gluttony.
Taylor's got gluttony, Colin's got wrath, Rye's got lust, I've got envy.
Envy.
Okay, alright, so moving on from our 7 deadly ciphers, we're now going into the main collab character. Taylor, you said you had no thoughts for this, you
No
said?
thoughts, head empty.
Okay, and Rye, you didn't contribute any collab, you're just gonna contribute later?
Or like as we go?
Yeah.
As you
Okay.
go? Okay.
Yeah.
Colin, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I can go first.
Okay.
So, starting with gender, I feel like that depends on what the species is. So that's something I would say we
to
decide
go forth
after.
with this, we decided human was too basic for this cartoon. So we're going to try and go some sort of like mythical creature.
Literally just
route.
anything else that's not human.
That's not human. So
And it would be our first non-human one. Like
Well-
a
Well, not
non-humanoid.
entirely, but
Not
Oh,
exactly.
Yeah, we could make it humanoid, but like I feel like it'll be our first.
What if you
like,
chose
real
one of like
monster.
what if you chose one of the adversaries of the show and just make like an original character of one of those? So like maybe one
We've
of the
been
gnomes.
considering that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
So-
sure.
An original Nomos?
Yeah, we got lists, so we're gonna go over the lists first. But just so everybody is aware, we're not doing a human.
Getting that schmeb.
So,
Yes, the Smith.
so I came up with some species ideas and some skill sets. For the species, I'm gonna say I have some on here that are pre-existing. I do have a few that I made up myself, so I'll kind of give a little background. So, human, very basic, obviously, so nah. Then we have Mothman. We have a golem, a basilisk, a banshee, or if you want to, like, I don't know, a banshee, make the first male banshee. Just on there for like
I'd
shits
say
and
it
giggles.
again. I don't
Yeah.
think banshees have a gender specific. I know we talked about this off camera about how like off mic. About how like banshees usually tend to be just female, but
Yeah.
I feel like
I'd love a guy banshee.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. I think it'd be
absolutely.
funny.
I don't think we need to name it a band.
Yeah, no, we can come up with a better name for it. Yeah.
Anyway,
So the next one on my list, this one actually is a real creature I found. It's called a boo hag.
Oh, I've heard of
Basically,
this.
it's a shape-shifting witch in Gula Geechee culture. I'm totally mispronouncing that feeds on the life force of people vampirically in the night.
yeah, I've heard of this.
What culture is that from?
I don't know, but I'm almost
Something
wondering
that
if
Colin
spell-
cannot
Unless
say.
spell
maybe
check
it's,
screwed
maybe
me
it's
over.
Gullah.
Maybe.
Gullah?
Anyway, the next one is something I call a mirror muse, which basically it's a person made of reflective surfaces. It shows you your desires and reflects critical points in your past. The next one is called a golden buzzer, basically a humanoid bee that produces a type of honey similar to that of liquid gold.
I'm sorry, the golden buzzer? You mean like American Idol?
Oh wait.
Or America's Got
it's
Talent.
like a magical bee that produces gold.
Basically,
That's
instead of honey,
actually
it's like
so
liquid
cute.
gold.
That's so
Okay,
cute.
that's interesting.
Wait, does that mean it heats up to like a certain point? Because
Maybe.
I've heard about bees like crowding like the queen and
Ooh.
like basically like
Overheating.
overheating the queen to
Oh,
death.
yeah.
Could you imagine that? That'd be horrifying.
That'd be cool. The next one I came up with I call the Hat Matter, which basically a dark humanoid creature obsessed with hats and headwear. Mad Hatter,
So, I
Hat
was gonna say
Matter.
the Mad Hatter?
Basically. And then the last one I have I call a time skipper. So appearing like that of a simply old man, he is not to be trusted. His ability to skip a few seconds forward in time makes him quite formidable. there and then, gone in an instant.
I feel like he would be a thing that the time agency would be trying
They'd be
to
after.
catch down.
That's what kind of where my mind was at when I was coming up with the idea.
Yeah.
You'll never catch me alive.
So, and like it doesn't necessarily have to be like an old man. We could say old woman too or something. But I just like the idea of it them being
Or not
like,
even
old
just
in age.
Oh, okay.
Just an old entity.
Yeah, just
old
like
entity.
to look like they wouldn't be like
I
much of a threat.
mean, literally the entity of time is time baby. So to
Exactly.
have a guy who's an old person that's kind of against it, that would be interesting.
Yeah. So then I have so that's it. What I got for a different kind of species. Now I have the skills I came up with that we could apply to some of these characters.
Oh god. Not again.
It's just 3,
Just
not
go.
many.
Just go.
So it depends on the abilities and what the creature is, but just because. Whenever joints crack, they light up like glow sticks.
Yep.
Multilingual.
Okay.
And sucks at inflating balloons, master at inhaling helium.
Okay. All right. Is
Don't
that
ask
it?
don't ask me why. That's just where the creative process went.
That's a very interesting creative process.
Creative process right there.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Gonna move the microphone real quick. Okay. So mine had I had a little bit of a more detailed thought process. I only have like 3 character ideas down, but I had more of a detailed thought process in these. So the first one I have on my list, do any of y'all know the 1980s movie, The Last Unicorn? I haven't
I know
watched
of
it
it.
in
The Last-
full, but do you know of it?
I know of it because I kept seeing TikToks of it with a very particular audio.
There's a very particular audio that this is based off of. But
Okay.
first off, I did see that it is on Prime for
We're
subscription,
gonna
so
watch
we
it.
probably should watch it at some
Okay.
point. Yes, that. But yeah, so this one's more of a Last Unicorn inspired character. Specifically the character from the movie is a female. Technically, we've seen unicorns in Gravity Falls, and we know that they can be both male and female. Yes, but basically, I'm under the impression of unicorn turned human against their will, like the audio from the movie. Also, like the character from the movie, I feel like their horn would not be visible either because of their human form, the horn's just not visible, or their horn was removed and that's how they got forced to do a human form. I do like from the idea from the movie that there was like a star kind of, I don't know, marking on their forehead on where the horn was. So I like that idea, just like a symbol on their forehead, kind of signifying where the horn should be. But I just like the idea of like an actual unicorn got turned into a human and just messing with that.
Are we gonna go like the deeply traumatic route, or are we gonna go to this is like a barista in downtown Gravity Falls?
Well, I mean, like,
Because
I feel like
we know unicorns exist in Gravity
Yes, we
Falls.
know that,
so I
yeah.
mean, would it be like one from that forest?
Well, I feel
it happens
like
to?
for them to be turned human, again, I'm saying turned human forced against their will, I feel like that would have a traumatic backstory. However they live now, that's up to them. But,
What else you got on
so the second one I have, you know in Gravity Falls, the god, the axolotl?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Axolotl.
I've got one here, the axolotl's apprentice. So some younger axolotl deity perhaps, or it doesn't even need to be an axolotl or a deity, just perhaps like some immortal entity, could be like a demon or something. But I like the idea of them having like some like axolotl tail, whether it's a part of them or it's like a part of their
Okay.
outfit, because there's this specific AU I like called the deity Bill Cipher AU, where he has like a little axolotl tail. I just like it.
You gotta send me that AU.
I will
later.
send you that AU later.
You better.
But yeah, so I just like the idea of there being some young immortal being that's like the apprentice to the axolotl that got sent to Gravity Falls to learn about humanity or something. They probably have a human form to blend in, but they don't necessarily need to stay in that human form. I just like them to have like a young appearance, either like around the age of of Dipper and Mabel, the mystery twins, or maybe slightly older. I just think having some because we've seen this before, an immortal being who has the physical and mental state of a child, just kind of being this chaotic force. I just like this idea that there's young deity apprentice to the main god of the series who's learning about humanity.
Yeah.
And just existing. I just like that idea.
Okay.
The third one that's not as fleshed out, is an alien of some kind. Because we had that whole UFO episode
Yeah,
in
that's
season
right.
2, which we didn't touch upon the actual aliens that were in the UFO.
Yeah, we never found out
we
what they
saw
looked
like a freaking skeleton at some point in the background, but it wasn't really clear what they looked like all that much. So I think, like, what did they look like? Did any of them survive? And if so, are they just roaming around Gravity Falls? Could they potentially have a technology or some natural abilities to camouflage themselves, like the Predators, who could turn invisible with their technology? Or perhaps they look like creatures from this world, like humans or some forest animal, like with the technology or the natural ability to like shapeshift.
I actually kind of like the idea of that, and actually going off the shapeshifter. Who knows? Maybe that's where the shapeshifter egg came from in the first place. That Ford comes across.
That is true,
Maybe it's like an
because that
experiment of
was
theirs.
that is true because that is there. Yeah, there was what second episode of season 2 we saw. It's like
Yeah.
shapeshifter. Ford found the egg. It was finding.
He did,
the egg,
yeah,
right? He
because we
didn't
see in the
create that
flashback
thing?
later on, he's like looking at the egg on the ground in the forest. He sees it hatch from the egg, and it turns into his cup of coffee.
Yeah. I got like so confused when you said turns into his cup of coffee for a second. I was like, wait, what? Yeah. So those are my 3 ideas. That's about all I got.
Okay.
I personally like my first 2, but the alien ones also.
What were your first 2 again?
So I'm just gonna rerun
Just
this.
say what it is vaguely,
So
because I'll
last
remember.
unicorn-inspired character,
Okay.
Axolotl's apprentice, or alien of some kind.
I'm not like as huge on the unicorn one, but the axolotl's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea of the axolotl, although I just do not understand the concept of the godlike.
Yeah, the only thing I really know of that
Well,
is just
wouldn't
that Bill
actually-
says the axolotl thing in the last episode.
Well, it wouldn't actually be the axolotl itself. It's just
No,
like
right.
a young apprentice of it.
Yeah, but then we'd have to like assume like big things about the hierarchy of Gravity Falls and their gods.
I feel like we would need a little bit more understanding of the
I
axolotl
think it's
god
less
itself.
of an actual god to Gravity Falls and more so
A
like
god
a
to the
god among
world.
a god amongst like because obviously Bill Cipher, a demon, recognizes the axolotl as being a higher being.
Yeah.
So clearly he's a deity to maybe the demonic races, not necessarily the human people, but like the demonic races at least.
I don't know. I interpret it as the axolotl is just
God. Kinda, yeah.
God axolotl.
And like in looking up like a lot of what I'm seeing, yeah, it kind of just
Yeah,
yeah,
axolotl.
there is a lot of stuff here.
Yeah. Just cute little pink axolotl that's giant and floats in space.
So I mean, unless let's see, Rye, do you have any thoughts on what the species could be?
Like what? Like are we specifically doing axolotl apprentice or is like?
Let's see whatever it is.
So Rye, did you have any thought process, or was there any of our list that you favored?
You can also look through again too if you need.
Yeah.
This is everything out on here. Ignore human because human's kind of basic.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like how we said not human. Like mine had some like human.
Oh yeah, no, like it could
forms.
totally be like humanoid or
yeah.
something.
You couldn't give
humanoid or give
Yeah.
it like a human form that it
Or
can shapeshift into, but
anthropomorphic.
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
sort of thing like that. Could be. Because like there have been a lot of people specifically. I'm going to use Bill as an example. A lot of people have done drawings of Bill with a human form, so it's possible for non-human entities to have some human form. I mean, we see it in a lot of different things that we see where people will draw or like will basically
If
express
humans basic, then aliens also basic.
Not necessarily, because I mean, an alien can take a lot of different forms, so I don't necessarily have to look human.
We could have demi-humans.
Like, think like a xenomorph, for example. Like, that doesn't really look all that human.
You mean
don't need to
Miss
go with the
Tall,
gray men.
dark, and handsome.
Rye is into the xenomorph queen, apparently. Moving on from that. But yeah, so we don't necessarily have to go with alien, because as much as aliens are touched upon a lot, they weren't touched upon a lot in Gravity Falls, other than like that one time. But
Yeah,
they
in
are
that
a fairly
episode.
common basis of certain sci-fi supernatural stuff.
Why?
It happens a lot. What?
Axolotl sent to Gravity Falls to learn about humanity or something. What? Why? Like,
What do you mean?
What's confusing you about that?
I don't know, just a weird backstory. What would an axolotl apprentice want to learn about?
Maybe they don't understand humanity all that well. I mean, that was kind of like, I feel like that happens a lot
Or like
with...
they're trying to understand the weirdness
So
that's
Marvin
leaking
the
in Gravity
Martian.
Falls.
Well, no, that's not humanity.
So it's just Marvin the Martian, essentially.
Who's Marvin the... Oh, not...
You don't know
No,
Tunes?
no, I know
Yeah.
Marvin the Martian. It took me like 2 seconds. No, because it's not an alien. The axolotl's a godlike entity.
Yeah,
So
but
the
he's trying to
apprentice
learn-
would be either like a deity or
Actually,
a demon.
technically speaking, if we are looking at it as the axolotl being the god of demons specifically, then it wouldn't be like a godlike being coming down to Earth. It would be a godlike alien being coming down to Earth.
Okay, we got a little bit too excited, so we're
Yeah.
gonna
All right.
continue.
So, looking at what we have presented to us, looking back, one of the ones it kind of seemed like we all fairly agreed on before was maybe the Banshee. What are our thoughts on doing a Banshee?
I love banshees.
I also like the idea of touching upon a male banshee because it's not something we see often. I
Yeah.
don't like the idea of calling it a banshee.
Yeah, no,
because it
not
doesn't
actually.
make
It
sense.
was just
We'll
a
call
term.
it a banshee.
Yeah.
Balshi.
Yeah, but
No, not Balshi.
Not Balji.
No, Balshi.
No, you definitely said Balji. This is you
No.
totally said
Balji?
Balji.
No, I was
It's a banshee.
Yeah,
Explain the naming. Explain the naming real quick.
Balshi, but a banshee.
Oh my god.
So again, Baljeet.
This is like a Phineas and Ferb episode
Let's
gone wrong.
specifically, I'm gonna look up the
Yeah, look up-
definition of the banshee just so we can say it.
Yeah.
People who don't know what a banshee is.
Screaming.
Definitely.
Not the movie.
Not the movie banshee.
Hold on. This
We're getting there.
I
We're
should have
making
looked it up
progress.
before I said I was gonna do that. Okay.
Yeah, female
So-
spirit. Interesting.
Banshee is traditionally a female spirit whose wailing warns of impending death in a house.
I do remember that the
Like,
death
well,
thing was a big
it's,
thing about
it's
it.
from
La
Irish
Llorona.
origin. Yeah.
Except
but if it's Irish.
That's, well, yeah.
Yeah.
La Llorona is Spanish.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters though if it's Irish or not, because I feel like
Yeah.
isn't like unicorns are technically European and yet
Basically.
it's in Oregon for some reason.
Again,
no,
Gravity
no,
Falls
it's
is
just-
weird.
I think we should take note of where it
No,
came from in
unicorns
terms of
are
like cultures
Scottish.
before
Gotcha.
we make it.
Point
you know?
still remains.
Yeah.
Did you know
So
Scotland's
so
animal is the unicorn?
That's so cool.
okay. So if we're going with the idea of a banshee, so I feel like we could still, I think what you said, call it a banshee even if it's a guy.
Yeah.
So are we
I think
going
another
with male
aspect
banshee?
I
then?
was thinking about, because I did talk about this with you before, is a way that this could. I was just thinking something that was interesting to me. I talked to you off camera when you mentioned this to me the other day.
Yeah.
Was trans character potentially?
Oh, we're making a trans character.
We don't
Maybe.
have to. I was just
I'm
saying.
not opposed to that. That sounds great.
You see
Yeah,
what I'm getting here?
I see what
Yeah.
you're saying. Although I do think it'd be kind of a cool idea if it's like the first
If it's
born
biological
male, firstborn
male.
male banshee, kind of like to break that chain.
Yeah.
Why don't
I
we
do.
just
Which,
do
which is
like
kind of
a-
where my mind was at.
Well, we
ahead,
just do like a Ganon thing where you know, in Legend of Zelda, where Ganon is the only like male Gerudo, whatever.
Is that how it was?
Yeah, he's
Huh.
he becomes, Ganon becomes Ganon because he's the only male-born Gerudo. 'Cause all the Gerudo are women.
Yeah, I just kind of like the idea that it was like actually like born a guy and like kind of
The
became
only male.
Exactly, the only male was born that outlier. Like
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. I don't like the idea of changing
Well,
the
I
name,
guess-
though. I think if we...
Yeah,
'cause I
still
feel
leave a
like,
banshee.
Because I
A
feel
banshee
like that
isn't really-
makes it... Hang on, because I feel like that makes it an outlier. I feel like if you take the singular male banshee to ever exist and give it a new name,
Then it's
makes
something
it feel,
else.
It makes it feel out of place.
yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
I feel
agree.
like you need to keep it a banshee just so it feels more accepted. Brian, did you have something that you wanted to say?
You look like you're
Well,
about to
it's not like it's not born. It wouldn't be like born a banshee because
Yeah,
it would be it would be like summoned like.
Wait, how are banshees made?
Oh, banshees are just
Well,
okay.
when,
they were
Some
born.
of them are ghosts, and some of them are like seen as fairies. So it's really just a mixed bag.
It just depends on how we play it, I guess.
It
Yeah.
generally is not summoned. It's more like a warning to people who are dying,
Yeah.
or to people who have like a family member who
Yeah.
might be dying.
No,
Yeah.
I know that, but like, how are they made? Are they born banshees?
how are they made? Well, if it's a fairy, obviously born.
Yeah.
But if it's a ghost, probably made.
I'm
It just-
thinking in
we
the
have to pick a
aspect of.
direction.
I don't know if you guys have watched the show Teen Wolf. I got very into that.
I haven't seen it, but I know of it.
finished it, but I'm still watching it. But there is a character who is a banshee, and she was technically born a banshee. She just had to grow into her powers because she wasn't like. I think it was less like she wasn't born with her powers, but more so as like she didn't know that she had them until later on because it was like it was something she grew into. So
Yes, she was born dead.
no, she wasn't born stillborn. But I do like the idea of like, because it could either be like a person who died and then became a banshee, or it could be the whole fairy aspect. And I think I like the fairy aspect better.
Yeah, because then we can say born for
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
And then we can
I'm
say
on.
born on
What
that.
about you?
I am down for either. I think the ghost would be like a good opportunity for us to make a traumatic backstory. And a reasoning for the character to be there.
I
but
feel
if
like
we
we
go
knew
the
it-
fairy direction, we have already fairy like
I feel like
characters in
with
the
if we
forest.
go ghost, because I do like go ghost, Danny fan. I feel like if we go
Crystal
ghost route, we need to
Not
discuss. We need to look up how certain ghosts become banshees, and then figure out how we can play that into our male character.
Hear me out.
Go ahead.
The fairy version, but dies and then still comes back as a ghost.
So what? Like
Then you're getting
So what?
both.
Like a fae that died, a male
Uh,
fae that died and then became a banshee.
How
Maybe?
are banshees?
Or like, yeah, the one male banshee died and came back as a ghost or something maybe.
Ghosts of women who died tragically or were wronged.
So what if it's like, it's somebody who's wronged? Is that what it is? Died tragically or
Or
wronged?
has been wronged.
Okay, so if we go down that route, we need to find a way that a male specifically, died tragically or was wronged, so that they could become a banshee.
Maybe somebody pushed them into the bottomless pit.
They had a lover that fucked them over.
I like that one. I was about to go down a very darker road.
What route?
Sexual harassment.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
Although I feel like that's a little too dark for Gravity
For Gravity Falls, yeah, that might be
That's
a
like
little dark.
super dark for Gravity
That's like a
Falls.
whole
Remember
other
that
direction.
this is a kid show.
So let's go down.
Yeah, I don't think Dipper
like,
and Mabel are gonna want to read that in a journal at the
I
age
like
of 12.
the idea of lover wronged them.
Yeah.
Because now
Yeah.
all I'm thinking about is freaking corpse bride.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we could go with that.
I feel like Mabel reading this in a journal would get a fear that like her failed summer loves are gonna end in her dying alone and
And
becoming a
turning into a
banshee.
banshee.
Oh no!
Wait, that actually gives more reason to do this.
Wait,
because that gives good character
Is
development.
there a way to like turn a banshee back to a normal spirit?
Oh,
Because what if this?
not
Because
that I
what
know
if
of,
the
but
fucking
maybe.
banshee becomes another one of Mabel's romantic interests?
Oh my, wait. I
am
like
I
the
going too
idea.
far with that?
No, I actually like the idea, but it might be hard to implement that
I
into a
feel
show
like
like
it
Gravity
also
Falls.
would be like an age gap thing. Like I feel like
Oh,
this
yeah, how old
character's
is this?
definitely
yeah.
older.
And you can't
Fair
really
enough.
ship an old dude with a 12-year-old.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
There's
little.
also, like,
I
time
mean, they
thing.
did it with Wendy and Dipper for a bit, but
yeah, but like,
Yeah, but that never
Wendy
was,
was
like,
also
Yeah.
under 18. Also,
yeah.
that's true. Okay, fair enough.
And
Which
I
makes
feel
it a
like
little
this
better,
character
at
is at
least.
least in their 20s.
Has to be,
when they
yeah.
die.
Okay, fair enough. All right. So, yeah. So okay, going along Banshee route. Are we saying they died tragically from something like lover wronged them? Is that what you wanted to do?
I'm still good with the lover
Like,
random
they've been
thing.
wronged.
Okay. So lover wronged them. They died. Did they die because of their lover, or they died after?
What if the wrong was
Died
they
of
got
heartbreak.
killed or something? Died of heartbreak.
Died of heartbreak.
We
Their
could
little
keep it simple.
heartstrings couldn't-
We could keep it simple and do that actually.
Died of heartbreak? You want to do that? That would be interesting.
I mean, maybe they seem like super young to die from heartbreak. I was personally imagining, like how all of those other ghosts died in like a flood or whatever.
Wait, yeah.
In that, I was thinking that they just like died waiting for their lover or something.
Let's be real, Gravity Falls has had some really dumb ways people have died. I mean, the 2 old people who ran the store died because they couldn't handle hip-hop music in baggy pants.
That's true.
And they both got stricken down with double heart attacks.
He got axed to the head.
Yeah, but that was like an actual
that was like
death,
the
though.
most intense version.
Yeah, so what were
from the
you
show.
saying? Died waiting for their
Died
lover?
waiting for them.
Again, I say Corpse Bride.
Exactly.
I'd be down to go with that. Die
So I
waiting
guess
for
we're
the
going
lover.
down Corpse Bride route.
I love Corpse Bride.
I know, I love Corpse Bride too.
I love Corpse
So,
Or we could just do it. Do we want it to be a comedic death or do we want it to be a sad death?
no, I like the idea of it being like a normal death because
Yeah.
I feel like a comedic death, especially with a banshee, is too much. Because it literally said tragic death or they were wrong.
Oh yeah, but like I could also
You're trying
see
to think like a Gravity Falls
as
putting
the
a funny
type of
spin on
show
it.
to be like a haha. This person heart got broken, so they immediately died.
No. Wait. Actually, I want to go off of that. So, like, I'm literally just imagining like a clip being played in Gravity Falls, where if the Banshee was in there, it'd be like the guy sitting there waiting, and it does like you remember Dipper skipping through time and he sees Mabel in the future hitting her head.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of sequence where it's just like it cuts to parts in the future of him just sitting there as like time moves that like speeds up for like the montage kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's him just sitting there, and then eventually, after what looks like absolute ages, looks at his watch and then just croaks, just like, all right, guess he's not showing a time to die.
No, I think it's more sad because I do like the way you were following around the whole Mabel thing where she was bashing her head against the wall,
making
from
thinking
walls.
it's gonna be her in the future.
Like being sad. Like I like the idea of like again, I'm going again with the Corpse Bride thing. I just like the idea if we just have imagery of if we get a little backstory on this guy, we get some imagery of this guy who is just like sitting under like this like meeting spot they had like in the woods or something, like under a tree, like Corpse Bride. He's just sitting there forever until he just eventually just dies from waiting too long. Because
I could
Yeah.
see that, or I could just see him getting killed by some random thing in Gravity Falls, because it's Gravity Falls we're talking about
I
here.
know, but so maybe not in the woods, but he like I don't know,
Wait,
like on a cliff. Or
What if the lover is like that wronged him was like another creature from the book or something?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Like, or just could say it's like a generic like witch or something like that. Like he fell in love with the witch and then the witch wronged him or something.
Isn't
So
there
like
a witch?
twisted version of the Owl House Wittebane story?
I was just kind of thinking like Ida wronging Stan.
Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, Owl House Gravity Falls connection. Ida, the owl lady from the Owl House, who's the main character. There's a lot of speculation that she's Stan Pine's ex-wife.
I could see
A
it.
very strong resemblance from Stan's description with like the pale skin, pointy ears, singular tooth, gold
Not
tooth
to
coming out.
mention same fake human name.
Yeah, Evelyn.
I don't think
Or
Evelyn.
no,
was
not
the
Evelyn.
name.
What was it? Marilyn.
Marilyn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Evelyn was her ancestor.
Yeah. But yeah, so maybe something along that kind of route.
Yeah.
So what? So some mythical creature that played him like a fiddle, or
Yeah.
like actually cared about him and then wasn't able to go meet him.
I'm thinking maybe kind of played him.
Played him like a fiddle.
I'm thinking played him. I
Played
feel like
him
that's
like
more
a
fun.
cheap violin.
The world's
then if they're
smallest
still
violin.
alive,
Like
they'll
a
just have
literal
beef.
fiddle.
Exactly.
Played him like a literal fiddle?
Yeah,
What
like
do
a
you mean?
literal fiddle.
Like-
You mean like turned him into an actual fiddle with strings?
Yeah.
I could see
Oh
like
god,
the other
not the
character-
Greek mythology pan flute story.
Yes.
I could see like whoever we're calling the witch or whatever later on seeing him as a banshee being like, ha, you loved me so much you died.
Yeah, I can see that being the tragic part.
Yeah. So mythical creature. I feel like maybe we don't even have to specify what the creature was, but mythical creature.
We don't need to
Did him
specify
wrong,
what
yeah.
the mythical creature is. I think we could also just play it off as being a witch, because that would be funny if it was another
Yeah.
witch
The
story.
lion bitch in the wardrobe.
Honestly, wait. Lion. What did you say? Lion bitch?
The lion bitch in the wardrobe.
What if it was like a lion creature or something? That would be funny.
A lion
Maybe.
We don't need to focus
Yeah, I don't
on
think
that.
we need to go
Okay,
deep
we don't
into
need to
that,
go too
yeah.
far into the lover. I thought
Maybe
it was a funny
maybe it was
play
the
on words.
wardrobe. I did him wrong.
No. Anyway.
Magical talking wardrobe.
Gets trapped into a wardrobe.
So
Yeah. Okay.
so
Let's refocus.
male, human or fae? Are we going down fae that die? So it's like double banshee, or are we going down human route?
Like double hell.
Taylor, what do you
Taylor,
think?
do you want to do
go
human
either
or fae? To have died.
Before they died.
Because I think it would be cool.
Like, can you know picture what a fae looks like for me?
I know what a fae looks like. It's basically like elf. Think
It
elf.
looks like
That's what I'm
basically
thinking.
anything. Like,
Okay.
it could look like anything.
Yeah, pretty much. Depends on how people wanted to depict them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm down to go with male fae.
So we could do male fae, or we could do. I do like the idea of like a human fell for a mythical creature and then just got played like a cheap fiddle, because I feel
Okay.
like a male human who fell for a mythical creature
Is more likely.
more gullible than a male fae.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
a
true.
Fae wouldn't fall for it.
Especially fae have this whole thing with like not sharing true names and shit.
I don't know, maybe he could have shared his true name and that fucked him over. Because I feel like with Fae, it works both ways.
It does. Yeah.
Okay, so which one then?
I like the idea of a human because I feel like a human's more gullible.
I agree with the gullibility part of it.
Yeah.
So you guys good with that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
So
Because I feel like we should probably start moving on to other aspects
yeah,
of the
so
character.
male human character fell in love with a mythical creature who was just playing him like a cheap fiddle. He died waiting for her one day because he was waiting, so he was supposed to meet up with her or something.
Mm-hmm.
Waited for so long that he eventually just
Died.
died.
So do we want to jump into appearance then?
Yeah, so why
'Cause-
do I keep on thinking of a ghast?
Like,
I'm staring at the squid you have there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You know what? Okay.
Wait, flip them inside out so it's
Totally
matches.
off
There we go.
topic.
Okay, yeah. So
But-
Taylor has a little like flippy squid
It's
thing.
one of those mood squids.
Yeah. Anyway, but I'm not saying like it has to look like a squid, but I'm thinking I'm just keep on thinking on the fact that ghasts look like they're constantly crying. I feel
Yeah,
like
with
having
the running
I
mascara.
feel like having the
Yeah.
male character just like be constantly in tears would be an interesting
Ooh,
concept.
That's a
actually,
cool
I like that.
concept.
So
I
do you
really
also want to
love
say
that.
running mascara kind of thing for it?
I don't.
Or I guess I wouldn't really have
I'm
mascara
sorry. So
necessarily.
are we saying this
Wait,
man
no.
has guy liner?
Guy liner.
Or just like some, but like,
Mascara?
so
Just looks
tears are just
yellow.
something to kind of. I'm just trying to think something to look like the
I mean,
tears
you can
if we're not
only
the actual tears.
you
but.
you
I
realize
think-
that tear marks tend to like fairly
do
be visible.
stain.
They do stain. So we
Okay.
could just say
And-
like
I mean, usually when people draw like tear stains, it's a lighter tone than the actual skin tone.
is it lighter tone? I thought it was a slightly
Usually
darker
it's
tone.
a lighter tone.
Oh,
Okay.
we can figure out a way to
It
do
kind of
Yeah.
that.
like
So I'm assuming
No,
we're
I get
not
what you
going to
mean.
go down the route of it being like an
thought it was really
off-white
darker.
color then. I thought darker.
Well, I mean, if the character's kind of gonna be like a ghost then.
I know I'm no ghost, but I feel like it just being off-white would be
stains.
too much.
tear. I don't
Um,
know how to spell tear.
So
stains.
I feel like the ghosts
Tiramisu.
Just-
in
no, that's-
I feel like
it
the
is
ghosts
tear.
in Gravity Falls had more of like a bluish hue to them.
They did, so maybe
I
something
feel
with
like
that to go with
in
it.
other shows that I've seen as well, it's like either been like
That woman's bleeding.
bluish or purplish or
Cried
greenish,
off her
some sort of
screen,
like
man.
pale,
Yeah, that one's
cool
like
color.
a light.
So-
So
I know it wasn't technically a ghost, but if we want to do a version where it's like actually in like some colors besides like one general color, we could go the route of when Bill took over Dipper's body and he kind of was in like a spectral form and he was kind of like a free-floating ghost in a
wasn't
sense.
he also kind of have a blue hue to
He
him,
did,
though?
but he still had like color to his outfit rather than all just being a shade of blue.
Okay, I'm getting distracted. What was just said?
We're trying to figure out
ghost
coloration.
color. So do
Oh,
we
ghost
want it to
colors?
be like
I'm thinking all
so?
white.
I know, but if we're going on the but I know like ghosts typically tend to be white. But if we consider the facts that you were saying that tear stains are lighter on the skin than darker, it would be hard to see the tear stains on
Yeah.
off-white skin.
I feel like it should be any of the colors that you choose ultimately.
I feel
it
like
should
blue.
be opaque.
Because I mean, actually,
Oh, he had some other
even
colors.
this guy did actually have some color.
so
Never mind.
so yeah, so ghosts
He
tend
looks
to
like
have
Sans.
so
Oh my
ghosts
God.
tend to have some colors to them other than just plain old white. Although he's not a ghost, he's a banshee. But
Yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna go down the ghost route, I feel like we do follow kind of the route. So there could be some color to him, but like have like a blue hue to him as well.
Yeah, I like that.
What was another thing with banshees? Can you look up pictures of banshees real quick? Because I just want to see like what banshees typically look
yeah,
like.
this way we kind of get like a little bit more of a.
They also usually wear morning clothes.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
like what is like they usually wear? Because I feel like
Yeah, this way we kind of yeah.
yeah. So what do they usually Oh, they do wear morning clothes. Okay, so they typically wear like, well, I mean, do we want him to have, so...
You know what's kind of funny? I'm almost picturing him in like Dobby's white robes and outfits from like the later
Yeah,
parts
but
of
that's
MHA.
Japanese specifically.
Yeah, I know, but like still could
Wrong
use
type of
it.
Dobby.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, like, all I can think of when I'm thinking morning clothes is just Undertaker from Black Butler. Because he also had morning clothes, but yeah. I mean, we can figure out a way. I think we need
I
to
could
look
just
up.
throw him in a dress.
Oh my god. So
think
he's
it
a
would
drag
be-
queen?
I think it would be more interesting if we throw him in like some sort of like, maybe not a dress, but like black robes-ish.
Robes?
Cloak
Okay.
something.
Maybe make him a
Just-
black butler.
No, we're
Oh
not.
my god.
No, I already
could
did.
go off of this drawing right here.
Yeah, that's not
He-
the worst
he
thing.
makes me think of like a Grim Reaper.
Yeah, that's not the worst thing.
Yeah, banshees tend to look like Grim Reapers. They just tend to also come
The
with
Grim
the whole
Reacher.
crying thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then
I feel like banshees though have more like they're not all bone. They're bony, but like they're still kind of like
Yeah,
still
they're gaunt looking.
They have skin texture still.
Yeah, no, we know. They're gaunt looking.
Gaunt.
Gaunt. Yeah, you know, like malnourished, basically.
Hmm.
Kind of in look. Which probably would be with our guy because he was waiting for a very long time. So
Right.
you could be under the understanding that he would probably be malnourished when he died.
Yeah. Maybe his life force was being like sucked out from the forest where
potentially.
the banshee or.
Do
where
we
the
want to
fae-
like be under the whole thought process that maybe the tree grew around him too, so maybe he has some like tree aspect to
It's
him?
like over the garden
Actually,
wall.
I wouldn't
where-
be I wouldn't be opposed to that. It's just a matter of how we want to do it.
It's like over the garden wall where they turn to trees.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking like how would we play that? Like how would we draw that out? Like
oh, you know what? In every single banshee drawing, I've always seen them depicted by trees. So maybe the trees just like an entity, like he can only emerge from trees.
What if it kind of like
so he can only
like he can only physically manifest.
is this
through
during
trees.
the decay of his body?
What?
Maybe like wrap him in the branches in the wood like
Yeah,
a
like he's
druid.
entangled.
Like it yeah.
entangled in the roots. I
Like,
was thinking that, like the
almost-
roots being
yeah.
entangled around him.
Almost like a druid, but like you know.
Not really.
And he
Yeah.
can't leave his position by a tree. Like,
Wait,
he
so
has to be materialized.
can he
by
So
move
he
from
has to
tree
be.
to tree,
So he can
or is
move
it
from
like-
tree to
Move from
tree,
tree to
but
tree,
he
but
don't,
he can't-
he can't go a certain distance from trees.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah,
that's
that I
not
can
a bad
work with.
idea.
So he's a tree banshee.
So that would also mean that he would have to be sticking to haunting the woods too.
Yeah,
because-
or.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, if like your
I know-
house is in like
I
a
feel
woodland
like
area,
He'd
then
have like a special ability, like if someone were to die, like in town or something, he could go to a tree in town.
Yeah,
But like
no,
that
I
would
know
be only
that.
if someone was going to die, because he's an omen.
Yeah, because he's an omen of like death. So he not like. Is it when people are about to die, or is it when people have died that they tend to?
About to die.
About
it's
to
like
die.
a foretelling.
Got it.
yeah.
Banshees tend to also have. Is it a scream or a wail? Like, how do we want to do
I-
this? Like a mourning wail, kind of, like a
I'm
sorrowful
kinda-
wail.
Yeah,
Do,
like
I'm
wailing.
weirdly
Like wailing
picturing
really
the Danny
loudly.
Phantom whale. I'm weirdly that's kind of what I'm picturing because I think it would fit Gravity Falls kind of well.
I know, but the thing about the Danny Phantom whale though is like they used it as being like a weapon more
Yeah.
than like the sound kind of sounded like a whale, but it was like used as a weapon. I feel like if we use it as like again, this guy died,
Yeah.
heartbroken, he's crying, stuff like that. If he like witnesses death happening or going to happen, I can see him doing like a heartbroken, mournful wail. Something like that.
I can see that, but I also like the idea of he screams louder the closer to death is coming.
Ooh, okay. So
The more the tree
so
consumes him.
no, not that. So
I do
kind
like
of
that.
like soft, silent, like quiet,
Like it starts
mournful cries, starts to grow louder into more of a wail, and then eventually becomes a screech the closer the death
Yeah.
comes. Okay, so
Okay.
like I'm thinking like a hurricane
Siren.
siren, like.
Oh my god.
like that, kind of.
Watch the level.
Oh my god. We gotta put an ear rape warning on that.
We're gonna have to turn that down.
I will.
No, that was
it's
such a
fine.
good sound though.
It's
That was
fine,
so
I will
good.
try.
I love that. I love that. That was
Don't
great.
worry,
Don't worry
pitchy.
about
I
the
can
volume, Ron.
I
We
feel
can
like
worry
he
about that
would
later.
scream like a woman. Like
Don't
I feel like when he gets
Just
to that
like,
level, it would sound like a woman, and then people would just like misinterpret it and misgender.
They think there's
Because
some-
banshees are supposed to generally be female, so
Yeah, because
you would think.
they think some woman is screaming in the forest for help, and then it turns out to be this guy just clinging to the trees.
Do you have Siren Head playing?
It's tornado sirens in Chicago.
No,
This
that's
is-
Siren Head.
though.
That's
No.
that's not the tornado.
No,
horn,
I
that's Siren
know
Head.
it is, but that's the sound that
Yeah.
Siren Head
The
makes.
aesthetic
Yeah.
of Siren Head.
That's
God, I remember
Siren Head.
using that video for a project one time.
Anyway,
But like, yeah, no, I love how this guy.
Yeah, okay. I'm vibing with that. So
I think we
it gets
do we
louder
need
as it gets
to-
closer.
Do we want to discuss more of his physical appearance?
Yes, I want to talk more
Okay.
what he's gonna look
So
like.
I think we need to stop with the sirens. I think we need to discuss. If you hear sirens in the background, that's Rye.
I don't think so. I don't think anyone can hear it.
Yeah, I think
You had to edit. I'm gonna edit this out real quick. You had to edit our audio from previous videos of like the freaking rock band across the hall.
I think it's a good thing. You don't have to edit.
You don't have to
this
edit that out.
Yeah.
Don't edit
Yeah.
everything out.
Yeah, no,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
the open mic portion.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
reason.
Fair enough.
Okay, anyway,
Ryan was
moving
helping us
on.
with our
Back to
audio
schedule
editing earlier.
programming.
But anyway, so, do we want him to have like human-looking eyes, or do we want him to be like? Because I'm seeing right here more like skeletal, like sunken
Yeah, I'm
in,
thinking like
completely
blank,
black,
kinda.
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
eye
Maybe
sockets.
just having no eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my point. Like blank eye sockets.
All Might sunken in eyes.
No. Like, but yes, but no.
Sunken.
Yeah. So
Black eyes.
that sunken black eyes.
What do you do with
Clearly
the black guy. What?
no.
You realize how that sounded, right?
You were so close to saying something
Yep.
else.
Yep.
I hear it.
Right. Rye's gonna get us
I'm
canceled.
going to pull Ryan
Anyway.
aside so I can explain this to them.
I think they get it.
No.
Yeah, you hear it now, right?
Anyway.
You hear it now. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
moving on from
anyway.
that. How do we want their okay, do we want them I'm thinking like again waiting under a tree
What do we want?
when
Sorry, go on.
their hair could have
That's
like
what I was gonna say, hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So could hair probably could have like grown out and been kind of unruly over time. Do we
Yeah.
want to say facial hair too, or
I would
is
like.
that
I
too
would like
much?
to see facial hair.
It depends on the facial
I
hair.
want him to look like a woman, but he's not.
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
So baby face,
baby face.
we could draw him
but like
kind of
long
like
scraggly hair.
Yeah,
baby
I think-
face with long hair.
I think we can totally go along the lines of.
So we're doing a twink banshee.
I think.
No,
what we're
I'll show
trying
you what
to
I'm thinking
do-
for hair.
I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to make him as much of a banshee as possible to the point where people would misgender him as like a typical banshee.
I'm almost thinking
And
like
then
this for the hair, kind of.
Shigaraki.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad idea though. I
That's
think like,
fair,
it's a good
though.
represent. I was trying to think how to explain it, and he came to mind
It's
perfectly.
so fair though.
Because like, look at the scraggliness of it. The way it grows out is like feral.
Yeah,
And I feel
okay.
like that fits for this
Yeah,
guy.
okay,
like,
that makes
if
sense.
you look at
Yeah,
some of
no,
these
I
pictures,
get it.
yeah.
I get it.
So I'm just gonna make a note Shigaraki hair.
Shigaraki hair. Yeah, all right. So I'm gonna be really weird here.
Mm-hmm.
Stick with me for a minute. Like Shigaraki, could his hair potentially grow longer the closer a person gets to death as well?
Actually, I kind of like that.
Maybe his
idea.
hair
That's a
starts
cool
like
thought process.
entangling that person.
I don't know about
Oh,
entangling
I
that
don't
person.
know if they would be close enough. Usually
Yeah.
banshees are like far
From a
off in the
distance,
distance.
yeah.
Yeah. But like as we said with like his wail getting louder to the point of like ear shattering,
So his
could potentially his hair grow out
his
to like
hair starts growing and starts like frazzling out.
I don't know about frazzling out, but like gets like even more tangled and stuff like that. Yeah,
I don't know, because I usually think of like
I know, I see it.
I usually think of like the hair kind of like free floating in the air. When,
Potentially, yeah. No, I'm like it's either going to be like we have pictures of Shigaraki. We'll know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway, we know that his body's gonna look kind of sunken in like a corpse, because corpse. He's gonna be wearing a mourning outfit. Okay, I'm gonna be kind of a weird person here.
Mhm.
How do How do his nails look? Because I feel like this would be an interesting detail.
Oh, are you talking
Why
about
are you
claws?
showing me
We're gonna
right
give
now?
him little claws.
It says specimen 4.
Yeah, but it's Banshee essentially.
Okay.
Claws.
It looks like a scary doll. That's what it
I
looks
can
like.
see long nails.
Like okay,
Okay.
wait.
He looks like he'd have a
Like
calyx.
Undertaker long or like longer than that?
How long are Undertaker's nails again?
They're
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay, not like super long.
Like that maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So just like long enough. Do we want them to be like kind of chipped? Do we want them to be painted? Like how do we want those? Like what if it's like
What if they're bloody?
Dude, ooh.
Ooh.
Like, what if he was clawing at something when he died?
Full on Shigaraki just
Nice.
claws at himself from the stress of nobody finding the person who's about to die yet.
Yeah, but like his nails are bleeding, not like him himself is bleeding.
Oh, I was going to say like he scratches at himself and the blood goes under his nails from like scratching at himself. But you mean like his
no,
nails
I mean
bleeding?
his nails are bleeding because he's been clawing at something so hard.
Oh, claw! Like, what if he like claws at the trees that he?
Oh, there's
stands by?
scratch marks on the trees.
He gets so like I just imagine. I'm not imagining him standing in front of the tree. I imagine him kind of like behind
Behind
the
it and
tree,
then clawing
holding
it.
on to the tree, clawing at it as he gets so stressed from people not being able to find you. I feel like this is another thing with with him having died alone by a tree. As a banshee, he's probably fearful of people not finding the person he's trying to warn them about close to death, like people didn't find him. His body is most likely still under that tree where he was waiting, like corpse bride.
Yeah.
So I think he just gets so stressed with the idea of people not finding the people he's warning of death that he gets like all
like not
his hair
finding the
his
body.
hair
Yeah.
grows out from stress. His wails get louder to
Good
the point
for
of
him,
screeching.
Getting so concerned.
His nails start like he just starts like scratching at the trees to the point of them being super bloody and chipped and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm liking this. Okay. Why are you still looking up pictures of Shigaraki?
Because I was trying to look up an image, particularly where he was scratching at himself, to use for a reference of something I was thinking, but I can't find it.
Okay.
Um.
Yeah, anxious boy. Anything? No. Anything else we want?
I don't know. Like, how would he think that this character, like, would they be able to interact with people besides the foretelling of death?
I feel like there has to be people who are able to see them, like, because I feel like for the most part they would be invisible to most people. Maybe not their sound, but I feel like they'd be invisible to most people. I'm gonna go thestral route. Could they be seen by people who have experienced death or loss? Or just something tragic?
Maybe. Or
Yeah.
usually the banshee's like shown to loved ones who know someone who's about to die.
So loved ones of the person who's going to die?
Yeah.
So-
or the person who's dying.
So can I make a point on this? So
Yeah.
Going back into the context of Gravity Falls itself, if this is something that would be implemented into the story in like
The
let's say an
twins need
episode,
to be able to see him.
exactly,
Yeah.
that's my point. The
and
twins
I don't
need
think
to.
the twins have seen death.
Yeah, and I don't think they have any other family that would have died there where it would have brought that up. So I think we need to think
Yeah.
of this in a way that the twins would be actually able to physically come across.
Could it
this.
potentially be like, what if he doesn't look like a ghost? Like, what if he just looks like a person? Like, what if he doesn't have that blue silhouette, like glow to himself? What if he just looks like a really
like everything we
strange
said so far, but doesn't have the
doesn't
glow?
doesn't look like a ghost? Doesn't have like a blue coloration to him? Just looks like a really pale, scraggly, corpse-looking person.
Yeah, like what if he like kind of fades in and out from like not being able to see to being seen, kind of like almost flickers,
Oh,
but
like
fading
his,
in and out.
Okay, so his physical appearance is like flickers in and out of like visibility,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah.
Okay, and we also know that he sticks close to the trees, so maybe his, so we know he sticks close to trees. Do we want to touch more upon the whole tree thing on him, or no?
I like the idea
I think
of
what we
the
have
tree
is
thing
good.
on him. But
I
I
do.
think it
Like-
could be a personal preference thing.
On how it's
Like-
on him?
Yeah, like how much of it's on him and
Yeah,
stuff.
okay.
Like from
So
Like, how
that
much
could be
of the
something
tree?
we decide on.
Well, when you
Yeah.
say like the tree being on him, what do you mean? Like roots wrapped around
I'm
him?
imagining
or-
like the tree like around him.
I'm imagining like him having like roots clinging to him, stuff like that, maybe leaves in his hair. But again, like, I think this is like a personal preference thing, like Taylor said. Like, depending on how we envision it, that's how we draw
Yeah, because
it.
my mind's going like there's branches or roots that are wrapping around like his wrists or like part of his
I do
legs
like
or
that
something,
too.
like almost like tethering him to it.
Yeah, so stuff like that. But like, so yeah, I think it's like a personal preference on the specifics of that. But like, yeah, tree kind of growing around him and stuff like that. He's gonna have Shigaraki chapped lips, isn't he?
I mean,
not
until you
necessarily.
said it.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
I'm almost
again,
tempted to do that to mine now. Boys
Personal
gonna need
preference.
You're just gonna
chapstick.
make a Shigaraki Banshee.
I guess we're just gonna make
Shigaraki
Shiggy as a banshee.
A Shigashi. Let's go.
Do we want to go like?
Shigashina?
Do we want to talk about hair color?
Yeah. What do we?
I'm thinking
White, gray.
Yeah.
White.
Something.
I was like between white or black because my brain, as I'm thinking of this character, my brain keeps on going to like that one character from The Shining, or not The Shining, The Ring, the woman from
Fair,
The Ring.
yeah. No, I'm thinking that, but I'm thinking like if y'all ever watched what's the show? Oh, Tokyo Ghoul, where the guy
love
gets
it.
so stressed out that his hair turns white, like the main character.
Yeah.
Again,
That's what I'm thinking.
Shigaraki.
For this
So
character.
white hair.
Well, Shigaraki's hair is blue.
It turns
It
white
turn-
over
it turns
time.
white.
Marie Antoinette syndrome.
It turns
Yeah, it
completely
turns
white.
white with stress, stuff like that.
Yeah, like. Yeah.
Like that, yeah.
Hot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh my god.
Okay,
God.
glad they can
Moving
agree.
on.
Hear me out.
No, we're gonna go with that later.
Yeah.
Moving on from Shigaraki because we've already done a My Hero Academia episode. We don't need to talk.
Yeah, no. So we're rolling with the white hair then. Got it.
Juice.
I'm totally down with white hair because again, we said that he gets super.
What?
He's an anxious.
You have a look on your face.
Okay, wait.
Yes, he is
What
a
if
beam.
what if we did the whole Marie Antoinette syndrome where his hair is one color and then again, due to stress, it turns white as everything about him just affects to the stress of people not finding this person who's about to die. His wales grow louder, his hair grows longer and more scraggly, he scratches more at the tree. His hair turns white.
Oh, so it's like a stage thing. Like as he gets more stressed.
As
his
he
hair
gets
turns
more
white.
stressed and the person gets closer to death, more things about him change.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that, and he looks more inhuman as
Yeah.
it happens. Okay, that's cool.
So wait, so does that mean like we want to stick to him? What if he just, furthermore, what if he just looks like a kind of like malnourished individual? And again, as it gets closer to the person getting closer to that, they look more and more
My
like
mind
a
went to
corpse.
Gyataro.
yeah.
Gyataro. Oh,
Yeah, you see it now, right?
kind of.
When you said malnourished.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I also feel like, on another note, if we're talking about like the possibility of Dipper and Mabel finding this character, I think they would look and act like a normal ghost as long as nobody in the town was dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah. So, like, because we know that he kind of, like, roams around, like, close to trees, but he doesn't, like, really, like, get super, like, noticed. Probably people just write him off if they see him. They just kind of write him off as some weirdo until, like, he goes about his weird corpse banshee warning thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe, like, that's, like, a thing, because I feel like there are some things where Dipper, like, finds certain people in the town just kind of, like, suspicious. Maybe we've noticed this guy and we find him suspicious, and then it's, like, around a time that a person's going to die that this person gets, like, that we start to notice things. Also, who are we having die in the episode that we
yeah.
acknowledge him?
Canonically having
I mean,
Gompers.
the mayor
It's obviously
does die.
Gompers. It's
Who?
the
Who dies?
Gompers. It's obviously the goat. It's Waddles. It's Waddles.
No!
Not Waddles. Waddles is
Okay.
Gompers. The goat. Rest
Oh,
in peace,
God.
Gompers.
No, do not kill off Gomp.
Didn't the
No, we
mayor
can't. No,
die
we can't because Gompers makes
canonically?
it through to the end canonically.
Didn't the
Oh
mayor
yeah,
die
the mayor
canonically,
died. That's
and
why
then they
Stan
got...
ran for
This is a
mayor.
season 2 thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Do we want to think about somebody else dying though? Because I feel like a good thing would be like
Seuss's
if,
grandma.
Oh yeah, this is the Gravity Falls we're talking about.
Yeah.
because I think what would be an interesting thing is like if it's somebody who's going to die and like the twins are able like go about saving the person. And they like because like I feel like maybe they meet the banshee's like trying to like obviously get people to acknowledge that this person's about to die, and as we notice the banshee slowly starting to turn more and more banshee like,
I mean,
the kids are trying to work towards helping save whoever's gonna die.
hear
stuff
me
like that.
hear me out. What if it's not necessarily someone Dipper and Mabel were like in relation with? What if
Attached
it was
to?
like what if it was like another case where they're with Pacifica and it's someone Pacifica was attached to or something, like someone in her family. Because this way it's not, because I mean, Dipper and Mabel, it's not like they've been in Gravity Falls that long of a time, it's just during the summer.
They have grown attached to some people, though.
Well, no,
But,
I know that, but no one that's like of dying
I feel like we
expectancy.
keep on. I feel like Pacifica has way too many ghost issues because she's
Yeah,
already
Yeah, no,
on
exactly,
season 2,
exactly,
the
that's the point,
lumberjack
yeah.
thing. God.
Exactly, this could be like
We
another
could
thing that
just add
happens
on
after
to
the
it.
lumberjack.
No, but this
yeah.
is my question though. Who would we have
Pacifica
close
becomes
to
an
death on
exorcist.
Pacifica?
Oh, wait, what if it's Seuss? Because we know Seuss's grandfather, according to his grandmother, kind of went to hell.
Canonical.
We're not killing Zeus. We're not.
No, his
Seuss's
grandfather's already dead.
grandfather.
Who's already dead.
So what are you talking
But like,
about?
I'm pretty sure his grandfather was already dead before the
Twins
Dipper
got
and
there.
Mabel.
Oh, wait, yeah, it would have to be, because it had to be someone that's,
That they're
that's
there.
close
Yeah.
to death, yeah.
Either that, or
Seuss's
it'd have
grandma.
to be someone. It would have to be like, it's either we have the twins find out about this character, or we have Ford find out about this character in his like tenure of looking and
Yeah.
exploring supernatural
Yeah.
things in Gravity
I'm
Falls.
just
So it
trying to
could
think,
be-
because
so it
Ford
could be
kept to
that-
himself when he was in Gravity Falls before he went to the portal.
Yeah, so he probably wouldn't have noticed this guy all that much because he was more of a recluse.
And Fiddleford obviously didn't do anything back then that would kind of
Yeah.
fit into this.
Also, Fiddleford did things that affected his brain.
Yeah.
So he probably wouldn't even remember. No, so what I'm thinking is, I like the idea of Pacifica. I'm just trying to think, who is Pacifica close to?
Besides her parents.
I don't want to kill Pacifica.
Yeah, no, we're not killing
We kill
Pacifica.
off Pacifica's
Wait,
parents.
hear me out. Who is? Think about the people who were at her party. Is there
Oh.
anyone there that we could think of
that
from
Pacifica
that?
cared about now.
That she cared. Yeah.
Also, she's already got she's got
mean,
a strange
she-
relationship
she-
with her parents too, so I don't want it to be her
She
parents
did
either.
like
Yeah.
Dipper.
Yeah, but
God,
Dipper's.
Dipper!
Wait, I mean, wait. Actually, wait. Ryan might be onto something. Hear me out.
What?
We kill Dipper.
No. You're not
Oh,
wrong.
right,
in a
'cause
sense.
Dipper
Dippy
and
Fresh.
Mabel- Oh,
Dippy Fresh.
Dippy Fresh.
They cut it out of the show, but Dippy Fresh was supposed to die. There we go.
Dippy
Which one was
Fresh.
Dippy Fresh?
In Mabel's Bubble Land, remember it
That
was
means
Dipper
this
with the
character
skateboard and the
wasn't
hat.
introduced until
We're not.
Armageddon.
We're not acknowledging that. Okay, I have a very
on a-
twisted thought process.
Okay.
Yeah,
Go
wait,
ahead,
what is
Taylor.
it?
Though.
My thought process is where I thought you were going with this
Oh,
before you
which
said Dippy
is-
Fresh was the fact that Mabel and Dipper died in multiple timelines, alternative timelines to the main one.
So what are we
And
just saying that the Banshee's trailing them?
the Banshee's trailing?
Oh,
them.
wait. Actually, to go off it, what if it's like it goes off every time they were like about to have the experience, but because we're in the main timeline, like they managed to avoid it?
Yeah.
Ah.
Because I mean, we know from like what you said, like that's the thing that actually happened. That the main timeline for the show is the only one in which they survived completely through all these events. In every other timeline, they died during one of those events. So what
Yeah.
if the Banshee was screaming, and it's just that in this timeline they managed to dodge it?
Okay, maybe. I do want to consider the fact though that we have a specific. I like that idea, and I do kind of like that would be a thing that would definitely happen because I feel like that would be like a whole reason for the Banshee to be seen around them a lot too.
Yeah.
Like if it's just following them because they have very often experiences of being close to death. But I do also like the idea of Pacifica being also affected by this thing. I'm gonna be real terrible person. But what
Do
if
it, do it, do
Pacifica
it.
is like close to death? Like she has a moment where she's close to death because she was technically close to death during that Lumberjack episode too because that guy wanted to kill all of them too.
Yeah, I mean, even the golf episode, I mean, she actually did
She
kind of almost
got
die. I
close to
mean,
death, too.
yeah.
So what if there's an
By Smurfs.
episode where she is like close to death, but this is like after the twins have kind of like become friends with her a little bit?
So like after the golf episode, maybe after the Northwest
Lumberjack
Mansion
episode,
thing,
yeah.
Or maybe we just have this character be like in a flashback, just screaming in the background before the lumberjack guy dies.
Wait, that actually kind of works. Think about it.
He could
What if
be
the
there.
band? No, because remember the whole lumberjack's whole thing was for trees. It even turned people to wood and everything. Pacifica was like the last one that
Oh
didn't
God,
get turned
the
to
Banshee
wood.
was
So what if
there,
the Banshee
wasn't
was
he?
there? That's what I'm saying. What if the Banshee is just there?
Okay, so he's like
That
a
could totally
second
fit.
part to this episode
Yeah.
where he's just trailing Pacifica and Dipper and trying to warn them of Pacifica's impending doom.
Right? I feel like that
Yeah.
could totally work.
Let's do this. Yes. Okay.
Yes, let's go.
Double ghost episode.
Double ghost.
Okay, yeah, I totally
No,
like
give me
this.
a better high five than that, right? That was so weak. There we go. I was gonna say, what is that limp high five?
No, I can
I'm
totally,
tired.
I totally
No
like
excuse.
that though. I totally like that though. We just have the Banshee trailing them.
Because think about it, it could get into the mansion then because he turns everything inside to trees and leaves and
Yes.
wood. Like,
Yep. That's true. That's fair.
All right, I think we have our lore of how it gets introduced then.
And we have a good physical description too.
Because we could do it like as the lumberjack is, at the very beginning we see the lumberjack kind of terrorizing them, it's making plates float, all that. What if during that sequence, Pacifica starts to hear the screams, they call Dipper, and then he starts to hear it too once, he gets into the midst of things.
Well, it wouldn't be necessarily screams. We said it was like waves.
Or the whale,
it'd be
that's what I
crying
mean.
at first,
Yeah.
and then
I
it would be
wanna-
screams when everyone turns to wood.
I want to think like, how would the banshee be in the house, or would he be like in the gardens or something? Because we said he has to be
Yeah.
close to trees. He
I'm
wouldn't be
thinking-
inside the mansion
Until the end. So
until the end when everyone's
starting
turning
off
to trees.
like
He's,
in the woods and in the
gardens
gardens,
or something.
Yeah.
and then gets into the house during the sequence where the lumberjack starts turning
And
everyone
that's
to
where
wood.
he looks super like gaunt and
Exactly.
like corpse-like, and the hair is super long, and he's screaming absolute
Yeah.
blood.
Are we
murder.
saying that he manifests outside of like one of the tree corpses? Like he manifests, it's like kind of merged with
What
them.
if he
Is that
manifests-
Maybe,
What do you-
but I mean, he also turned parts of a house into wood too, and like shrubbery and branches. It wasn't just
manifests
people.
next to Tree Dipper?
I'll be honest. That's what I was imagining at first. Like
Just like a manifesting next to
some
Tree
party
Dipper.
goer, and then the banshee just.
Nails on a chalkboard down the person's
Yeah,
tree-like
cool.
body.
It's gonna be. I feel like it would be maybe like the old man mayor guy or something, because he's already the closest to death. So that's the connection there.
I like that. Yeah, so I like that. Like he manifests near the mayor's tree body and just starts clawing at it. That
Yeah.
would be
Wait.
funny.
So does that mean if he's clawing at it, if he's clawing at it, does that mean when the mayor turns like untreed, I guess would
He
be the
just
term for it?
unmanifests.
Would those scratches still be on him though?
Oh, that.
If it was
It could
carved
be
into
it could
him.
be like an underlying mental kind of scar, but it wouldn't
Maybe.
be like a physical
I'm
scar.
thinking
maybe.
like just light scratch marks on him or something.
I'm thinking scratch marks.
Like light scratch marks
because
under
if
there.
the guy's like clawing into it, I feel like that would
You'd
actually
see it, yeah.
damage it. Like you would see it.
So wait. I want to think though, if we're able to prevent death, how does the banshee look if you're able to prevent the death? Like, does he just slowly go back to how he
I'm
started?
thinking
or-
slowly. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Slow
Yeah.
reversion back
Maybe
to how
not like
he started.
slowly, but like at least like fairly like fast, but not like too fast.
Yeah, no,
right? Like
yeah,
slowly
exactly.
reverts back to how he looked at the
Oh,
beginning.
I was thinking like super fast. Like it just goes.
Maybe
wouldn't like
not
him-
like a flick, but like a
You
fade
can just
into
you
it.
can.
But like
I wouldn't say like a
fast.
fade into it. I just want to see like the image of like his hair slowly like retracting back to its original length.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like think
And
like
color and stuff
think
like
like
that.
Google Slides when you do the fade transition, like that speed
that.
in between. That's
Yeah,
where I'm
like
trying
that.
to go with it. That
Yeah.
kind of fade.
Yeah. Okay. I see that. I see.
Yeah.
So like you see that shift into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Instead
then
of
and then
just
at
snap.
the end of it, he just gets out.
He
Just
just disappears away
Yeah.
like in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that would
like
be cool.
after he transforms back and he stops crying, it's just like, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fades
I like
out.
that. Okay. All right, I think we got a good character thought process.
Wait, hear me out. Hear
He's
me
my
out.
favorite character now.
Wait. Never mind. Actually, no. It's answering my own question in my head. We're good. We're
Okay,
good.
perfect. All right.
All
right.
Yeah.
So perfect. I think we're good.
Rye, any other thoughts or comments?
add-ons to it?
No, I'm
Wait. Actually, wait. I do have one more thing I want to ask. Hold on. Let me pull up my list again for a second.
Okay.
Oh wait, which one of the skill sets?
Yeah, all right. So first up, is he multilingual? Second of all, did he suck at inflating balloons, and was he really good at inflating helium when he was alive? And also, do
Would he
his
talk?
joints crack like a glow stick
Would he talk?
when they snap?
Would he be able to
I
talk?
think he would talk if he was in his normal ghost form, but I
Yeah.
don't think he would say anything.
I think
when he
no,
was
because
crying.
if you think about it, though, if he's able to talk, then he would be able to
To
like
warn.
Oh, yeah, just physically
articulate
warn.
what he's wailing
Okay,
about.
so when
I
he was
think-
alive,
I think
was he
that
multilingual?
when it's at the point where he's already started crying, he can't just communicate anything.
I mean, La
He's just
Llorona
crying.
La Llorona can, in the tales of La Llorona, she can speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I like the idea of him being like fairly quiet. Like he doesn't speak, especially like when he starts doing his like cries / wail / screams. He doesn't
interpret
articulate.
it
I
as
feel like he can
when
only.
he's not in control and when he's in control.
I feel like he can't do
Ooh,
like.
so when
Wait,
he's
wait,
about,
I want to hear what Russ
You go
says
ahead,
first.
Russ.
I feel like he can't do like long sentences. He says like maybe
Short
like
words.
three words at most.
Yeah.
No, you-
I like the idea that Taylor was just going on. I was like, he can like kind of speak to people, but then like when he gets in, it's like when he's in control and when he's not in control. When he senses someone about to die and he starts his whole crying, wailing thing, he's not in like right of mind enough to communicate properly with people.
Yeah, and his crying is a form of communication.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. He
Yeah.
can't do anything else.
Okay,
Maybe
so
like when he's like just roaming around and he doesn't have anybody to warn anybody about,
Yeah.
he could potentially talk, but I like Rye's aspect if he doesn't speak much.
right.
Or he can't, speak that many words in a
That's what I
sentence.
mean, doesn't speak much.
Yeah.
Okay, so then that's decided. So, do his joints crack and
No.
glow like glow sticks?
I
No.
say he's multilingual.
I think multilingual's the most aspect
Yeah.
that we can do, because imagine him like, because I feel like
But I don't know, the tree aspect, if he
Yeah.
snaps like a glow stick, like he can
His
snap
sap
like
glows or
yeah,
something?
literally. Or like I'm imagining the snap of a glow stick is not that different than a
Or
snap
maybe
of a tree branch.
He
Not Morgan
releases,
disappearing under the table.
bioluminescent spores when his
Oh,
branches
wait, that's
crack.
actually cool. Yeah.
say that one more time.
So when his branches crack, it releases like bioluminescent spores.
I like that.
Maybe that's also a detail of like when people prevent death. Like as he
Yeah,
slowly
Yeah.
turns back,
It glows.
as he slowly
And
turns.
then you hear the glow stick snap.
No, not what I'm saying.
And
As,
he turns
he,
back to
as he
normal.
slowly turns back to normal, various like parts of the tree that's wrapped around him starts to like snap off, and it's the bioluminescent kind of spores
Yeah.
that flow
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Okay. I vibe
Snap,
with that.
crackle, pop,
Snap, crackle, pop,
disappear.
baby. Yeah. There we go. All right. So
I think we're pretty
yeah,
much
I
good
think-
with our character.
I think so. I think we can ignore the helium part. That's just going to be a side thing I'm going to think about. When he was alive, he was really good at inhaling helium.
Okay.
All right, and with that, this has been episode 5 of our podcast, Character Crashers. Thank you, Rye, for joining us today.
It was a pleasure being here.
We hope you all enjoyed our discussion of Gravity Falls. If you're interested in more character media and creativity, go ahead and hit that follow button. And until next time, stay
Stay
crashin'.
crashin'.